I was skeptical about this one the first time I saw it, like, who actually needs a column PA that looks like it belongs in a concert hall instead of my living room? But after borrowing a friend's setup for a weekend and realizing how much cleaner the sound was compared to my usual wedge speakers, I had to see what all the fuss was about. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The QSC KC12-BK is one of those pieces that looks deceptively simple until you actually hear what it can do. It's a three-way column array, which basically means it stacks 3 different drivers in one sleek black tower so you get clear highs, solid mids, and punchy lows without needing a separate sub or a stack of speakers. I set it up in my living room last weekend for a small party, and the first thing that stood out was how even the sound was across the room. Most speakers either blast the people closest to them or leave the ones in the back straining to hear, but this thing kept everything balanced whether you were 2 feet away or all the way across the couch. That alone made me rethink how I usually arrange my gear. Another thing that surprised me was how easy it was to dial in. I'm not an audio engineer, and I've definitely spent way too long tweaking EQ settings just to get something that doesn't sound tinny. With the KC12, I plugged it in, turned on the built-in DSP presets, and picked the speech mode for clearer vocals and the music mode for a warmer tone. It wasn't perfect right away, but it was close enough that I didn't feel like I needed to hire someone to tune it for me. That's a big win when you're trying to set up for a party and don't have hours to spare. I also love that it's portable enough to move around without needing a dolly. It's not featherlight, it weighs about 35 pounds, but it's got a nice recessed handle on the back, so it's not a backstraining nightmare like some of the bigger speakers I've wrestled with. I took it outside for a backyard movie night last month, and it handled the open space surprisingly well. The column design actually helps project the sound forward instead of letting it scatter everywhere, so I didn't have to crank the volume to ridiculous levels just to hear dialogue over the ambient noise. That's a detail that matters when you're trying to keep the neighbors happy. One of the most practical features for me has been the built-in mixer and Bluetooth. I usually run sound through a separate mixer, but having the option to just plug in a phone or tablet and stream music directly from Spotify was a game-saver during a last-minute gathering. I didn't have to worry about bringing extra cables or adapters, and the latency was low enough that the sync with the video was fine for casual watching. It's not going to replace a full DJ setup, but for background music or quick playlists, it's more than enough. I also appreciate the build quality. The cabinet is made of reinforced ABS plastic, which feels solid without being overly heavy, and the grille over the drivers is tight enough that I'm not worried about pets or kids accidentally poking at the cones. I've had speakers in the past where the grille felt like an afterthought, and it's always a relief when something this compact still feels durable. Now, it's not without its quirks. The biggest one is the power cord. It's permanently attached, which is fine most of the time, but if it ever gets damaged, you're stuck replacing the whole unit instead of just swapping a cable. That's a small inconvenience, but it's worth mentioning. Also, while the Bluetooth is convenient, it's not the most stable connection if you're in an area with a lot of Wi-Fi interference. I had a few dropouts during a party once, but switching to a wired connection fixed it right away. Overall, though, I'm really happy with how this has worked out. It's not the flashiest speaker out there, and it definitely doesn't scream "look at me," but it does exactly what it's supposed to do without making you jump through hoops. Whether you're using it for small gatherings, background music, or even just filling a room with better sound than your TV can provide, it's a solid choice. If you're in the market for something that's easy to set up, sounds great in a variety of spaces, and doesn't take up half your garage, the QSC KC12-BK is worth a look. Check it out using the link below if you want to see the specs for yourself.